everyone. It's a little while since we've been in touch, all sorts of different reasons for that. But anyway, it's good to be back and to reflect a little bit on St. John the Baptist and this wonderful time of Advent, and to realize yet again, it comes around year after year, of course, it is an invitation to us to enter more deeply into the life of faith, the life of grace, the life of relationship with God, the life of friendship with Jesus, and to look at ourselves and to ask ourselves, what might the Lord be saying to us in the various, well, I think we get nudges, don't we? Or we get invitations to do things or to be in a different way. And the task that we have is to respond to those graces. The great American Trappist Thomas Merton, in his book called The New Seeds of Contemplation, has a wonderful opening paragraph in which he sees the life of faith in terms of a huge scattering of seed in a forest, or even just from one tree. So many seeds, so many invitations, so many possibilities in life, and he wants us to see our own lives that way too. There are so many opportunities for us to discover how wonderful the love and the mercy and the providence of God are. So that's something I think to bear in mind, and we can't deny, dear friends, that these are difficult times in so many ways. The news is depressing. A lot of people say to me, they'll just might listen to the headlines, but they can't bear the rest of it. Yeah, understand that. And then, of course, the pressures that are growing on all of us, the financial pressures. These are difficult times. There's no way to disguise that. And there were difficult times when John the Baptist appeared. He came out of the wilderness. He had experienced the wilderness of life. There's a wilderness of life at the present time. And a different wilderness, all right, but it's still a wilderness. And sometimes the wilderness is the best place to hear God's call. When our lives are motoring with every cylinder is doing its job, and you know what I mean, everything's going fine, we can tend to be forgetful. And these times when we tend to get forgetful, the thing is to say, well, to be grateful for what we do have, and then when the times really do get tough, to remind ourselves of this fundamental truth that in all of these things God is with us. Emmanuel, that's the celebration, that's the word we're going to be hearing at Christmas. Emmanuel, God with us, not against us, not opposed to us, with us. And how more perfectly could have been with us than in the babe at Bethlehem. And yes, many of us have lived many Advents, and we still see there's work to be done. You might be looking at my bookcase. You look at Mark's bookcase, it's very tidy. You look at my bookcase, it's not at all tidy. One of the things I want to do is to tidy my bookshelves. Now, that's a very minimal thing in comparison to how I want to be living my Christian life and the invitations that God gives to me and to all of us to listen more attentively, to spend time in quiet, Saint Charles de Foucault, canonized this year in May, one of his lovely sayings was, "God speaks to those who keep silence." And I hear you saying, how am I going to get silence in this hectic run up to Christmas? Yes, good question. But it's a good aim to have. And to hear, just to listen to what's going on in our lives, really. We don't have to go too far outside our experience of our prayer life or the difficulties with it, family relationships, parish relationships, work relationships, all of these things. There can be invitations to us to trust more deeply in the Lord, to walk more closely with him. As our Protestant friends say, to lean into him. Yeah, good time to be doing that in this Advent. So let's do our best to keep it well. The Gospel has a phrase today, which I shall just remind myself of, where John the Baptist says, "But if you are repentant, produce the appropriate fruit." So that's what we seek from the Lord, by his grace, to change our lives for the better and to live more fully as children of the kingdom. Happy Advent. Bye for now. So a few parish notices. Our other communication goes a bit more widespread, I think. But for the parish, to encourage the attendance at our devotions on the Sundays of Advent. So this coming Sunday, second Sunday of Advent, 4 o'clock, time of prayer and reflection, quiet and shared dedication. To let you know too that for Christmas this year, with it being on a Sunday, we have decided to alter the pattern that we've had over the last few years. But the way it will work out is this: on Christmas Eve, on the Saturday, then Mass at 6 and at 9, and then on Christmas morning, Mass at 9 and 11:15. We want to keep the 11:15 because that they're not great numbers watch it, but it is it's just something that they won't have to think too much about what time is Mass on Christmas Day. It'll be there for them at 11:15. I'd like to mention, which I shall mention at Mass as well, a great Christian from this town who has died, Maureen Brunt. Maureen was known to most people, apparently most mothers anyway, as the town's midwife, and apparently she delivered lots and lots and lots of the children of this town, and she was very, very much loved and respected. And she also, in late life, I say really quite late, 70 plus, she joined street pastors and was regularly walking in the evenings when we had street pastors with others, listening to youngsters on the streets. Anyway, Maureen died of cancer, and her funeral is on Wednesday in Christchurch at 2 o'clock. It's one if I had possibly been able to shift my schedule, I would have been there myself. Maureen was a very unconventional Christian in some ways. She didn't belong to she had many Christian friends, but I think she was part of the United Reformed Church, also of a part of a smaller community called Canopy in Canterbury. But she was a great Christian, and Catholicism was quite different to her brand of Christianity. But she knew the good work that was being done here in the SVP. And more than once, she gave me money to say, give it to them, they know what they're doing. I thought that was a typical of the generous Christian spirit. She was full of faith, full of faith. She was an inspiration to me, I have to say. So God rest Maureen. And one final thing for this I'm going to get into trouble for is just to say that Barry, Deacon Barry's birthday is today, and he's reached a significant number. It's 70 years plus 15. I leave you to work that out. Happy birthday, Barry, and thanks for all you are and you do. Amen. Bye for now.